and our guy,
Yep.
Trey Daerr, to discuss a little bit of this. Trey, what has it been like there in Fayetteville with this old but new face taking over the Arkansas program?
You know, you could tell right from day one that Bobby is in control. The way it's crazy how he can command the room and the kind of presence that he has. Right, that introductory press conference, which was so a week ago Monday, so a week and a half ago now, you knew. It's like, man, he is. It's almost like he never left. He's so in control of the moment. And you would think, like, you know, we all see it. We all laugh, the neck brace photos and how he lost the job and all that stuff. You know, very humbling, quite frankly, probably, I'm sure, embarrassing for him. He had a great situation, and I'm sure he went through a lot of stress over the whole thing. For him to be able to look past all that and be so comfortable in the moment, it's a credit, you know, to his personality and his stability and his confidence. You know, maybe Bobby Petrino has lost his fastball. I'm not saying he has, but maybe he has. Actually, I have a graphic in our sportscast today. 44-41 since taking over as the head coach at Louisville. Only one 9-win season. He's basically a 500 coach.
Yeah.
He won 73% of his games from his first time at Louisville until he got fired at Arkansas. So a different guy now, but he does. As I try to land the plane here, taking a while to get to it, he's so confident. He believes he's the man for the job. He believes they're going to get on the field. He believes they're going to win. And again, you know, follow the money, the gambling lines. People like Arkansas, that line's come 13.5. It got down to 11.5. It's going back up. I think that's crazy. I don't bet there's a reason for it. I think it's free money. I think Tennessee's going to cover. In fact, I've told people in Fayetteville, I'm jumping in the Tennessee River if Arkansas wins that game on Saturday.
You know what? I look forward to that. I honestly, at this point, I'm cheering for Arkansas just because of that, because I would love to see that.
As long as I don't know if there's like any pollutants in there or whatever. You know, there's yachts. And the whole
no, don't hedge your bet now, Trey. Listen, you're going in the river. You stood to stand on business. We're holding to that one, no doubt. I'll text you.
If for some reason somebody says, dude, don't do that, it's kind of polluted, bad idea, then I'll jump in a body of water up here in Fayetteville. I feel pretty confident I'm gonna be dry, but I'd be so happy to be cold and wet at some point on Saturday or Sunday if Arkansas proves me wrong.
Man.
And hey, everybody's saying it. UCLA did it, so you know why not Arkansas?
Yeah, and I thought about that as well. Like, hey, who says that they can't pull off the big upset there? As far as Tennessee goes, Tennessee's the #1 scoring offense in the entire country. And last I saw, the Arkansas defense, they're still giving up touchdowns even after the bye week. So, like, what do you make of this momentum or this game as far as the offenses go with both these teams? Do you just see a shootout here in this game where Tennessee just, has to score, 50-plus points in order to get a big win over Petrino and company?
You close your eyes and you listen long enough, you could start hearing that Notre Dame fight song. They're still playing it. And the band didn't even make the trip. And they're still playing. That's how out of hand it got for the Fighting Irish.
All the way from South Bend.
56 points. 56 points is outrageous.
That was ridiculous.
To give up, and it wasn't just the fact that they scored 50. It was how.
Yeah.
And it was without resistance.
It was
like
bad.
they were operating against air. They get better looks against their scout team than what Arkansas was throwing out there. So much so that I'm sure you guys are aware of this. Petrino fired 3 defensive assistants. So they've empowered him. Yeah. I didn't think that was possible. Of course, I thought a coach would change, maybe the defensive coordinator, whatever. But it's October. Where are you finding coaches right now?
So that's my question: are they just going without? Is it like when someone fouls out and you only had 5 on the bench? You're going with 4?
They're doubling up. They've pulled an analyst out of the booth to now be a game day head coach, and they found somebody off the beach. So they're. Jay Hayes is the gentleman they hired who was, retired / unemployed.
Bobby Petrino is playing chess. Or else playing checkers, guys. This guy makes no mistakes. You think he rolled right in there with confidence because he didn't know he was going to be there? Come the heck on, dude.
Again, hey, as a college football, guy, that's my sport, and I'm a Bobby fan. He's a little rough around the edges. I get it. He's got his way of doing things, but he can win. He got into trouble at Louisville because the coaching staff just not anywhere close to what it needed to be in the ACC, and it was a lot of family members and friends and coaches' friends and stuff like that. So, you hope that's not more of the same here. But I would say that they probably got to win, at least 3 games for him to be in discussion. That gets them to 5 and 7. Maybe they could tell it to the fan base. What does it look like? They don't have to. They don't have to go on some crazy run and finish 7 and 5, 8 and 4 or whatever. But what does it look like? And as far as this game, and that is right up Gerhard, you made the point there. That's right up Petrino's alley. He wants to outscore you. Everything is offensive centric. How they run practice, from what I was told back in the day, at least whenever I was here previously, I don't know if it's still true. Quite frankly, a lot of teams do this now, but 15 years ago, there was a lot more live tackling in practice, certainly in training camp. And two-a-days still kind of sort of existed. Some teams did it, not anymore. Player safety much more of a concern. Tackling, you want to avoid injuries, head injuries, all that kind of stuff. But Petrino, even back then, was ahead of the curve, running more of like an NFL model. Everything was designed around having confidence in the offense, making sure his skilled players were protected. His quarterback was protected. His quarterback was in rhythm. So, I'm more interested to see what the defense does. I think the offense is fine. I think they can go out and they could score 24, 28 points. It's what does that defense look like?
Yeah, I'm curious, Trey, I don't want to just make this all about Bobby Petrino, but it's hard not to talk about that, to be honest, because I'd rather talk about that than I would the Arkansas football team at the moment. Is there a number of wins left on the schedule that makes him the guy, or is that, because I've heard a lot of different things, and I'm definitely not in Fayetteville to really get a finger on the pulse of what this looks like, but is there a number, is there a situation, opportunities are there, because there's games to be played on the schedule, that he is the guy because he shows enough stuff to make that happen?
I just think it really, I hate to couch my answer here, but I think it really depends, because usually these things do happen in a vacuum. And when a coach is fired, they certainly already have their target for who they want. Now, the execution and going out and getting who they want, that's a little bit different. But if they've already set their mind on, well, we really want Rhett Lashley and we're going to make him tell us no, and we're going to offer him, $8, $9, $10 million a year, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Well, then there's probably not a whole lot that Bobby can do. I think if they get to a bowl game, if they go 6-6, that means they're 4-3 down the stretch. Unless that is a situation where they've already made up their mind with who they're hiring and they essentially, talked to the agent and vetted the process and they know what it's going to be. I think if they get to 6-6 and it's a truly open process, Petrino has a job. I do. That'd be 4-3. All 7 teams remaining on the schedule are receiving votes in the top 25. 5 of these teams are ranked. Tennessee, LSU, Texas A&M. Am I forgetting somebody? All 3 of those teams are playoff teams, so not necessarily Auburn.
Auburn, no, there's no necessarily about it. Just not Auburn.
I wouldn't count. I don't think so. I think it's a long shot. They're not even ranked right now. Texas on the schedule too. I'll throw them in the conversation. So you're talking 4 playoff contending teams that are on this schedule, and all 7 teams are receiving top 25 votes. So if he can navigate those kind of waters, go 4-3, and as I said, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Can you be competitive? If they go out this week, there's clear improvement. It's gonna be like, all right, hey, maybe Bobby still got it.
Well, the guy who comes in and does anything positive is always the most popular guy in the room. It's like the backup quarterback.
So there's always a bump when a coach is fired. Hey, you can get after the players a little bit more, new voice, that whole kind of thing. I don't think this will happen, but it could. It could get worse. What if the new coaches are even worse?
Right.
What if the loyalty to that previous staff, those previous coaches, was so strong they tuned this guy out? And the way college football works with the NIL payments, transfer portal, all that stuff, the quit factor is through the roof.
Absolutely.
It's hard to imagine.
You're absolutely right, Trey. No doubt.
It's hard to imagine it getting worse than a 43-point loss to Notre Dame, but that could happen. A lot of these kids have already been paid. Like, I got my money. What? I'm not playing for you.
And that window's going to open on January 2nd, and I'm out.
I'll throw 3 names at you. I'm just going to say this name or Bobby Petrino. You can speak for yourself, the fan base, or you can find a hybrid of 2.
I like this game.
Okay.
Number 1, Rhett Lashley.
Very, very high on the fan base list. He's an Arkansas guy. You always want your own. He went to school here. Protege of Gus Malzahn. So he was Gus Malzahn's quarterback whenever Gus was still a high school coach. I do have some reservations about Rhett Lashley, fired by Gus Malzahn. They could dress it up however they want. Malzahn basically had to fire him.
That was a weird time, but that might be an Auburn thing more than anything else there, Trey. Let me put back the curtain a little bit. That stuff didn't make any sense for a minute.
Goes to UConn. Doing coaching at UConn.
Right.
The situation was so untenable at Auburn. You go to UConn. You talk about a coaching graveyard. That's the kind of place. Didn't do anything there. Then Miami. So you're talking basically about a 2-time fired defensive coordinator. I have some reservations about him, but what I love about Rhett Lashley, why I'd be in on him, that's showing they're trying. They're finding the money. So yes on Rhett Lashley for the excitement.
Fair.
Number 2, John Summerall, Tulane.
100 out of 100.
Big Big fan of John Summerall. What a winner. 21 wins at Tulane, or at Troy, took in 2 seasons, took over a really bad situation. Doing pretty good at Tulane. Looks like they're probably going to have 9, 10, maybe an 11-win season there with the Green Wave. By the way, coolest logo in college football. But so
he
John
ain't taking
Summerall
that job.
over
That's
Bobby
the butt.
Petrino. But he's going to be really, really expensive. And I believe he's a defensive-minded guy. The way the sport is now, you kind of want an offensive-centric head coach because if there's turnover, you need to keep scoring points. And the defensive guys seem to struggle to get the right offensive coordinators whenever they lose a good one.
He's above Arkansas, if I'm just being honest with you. That guy, he could be head coach at Auburn. People at Auburn are going to feel like that they won the lottery when he is.
Let's be realistic. Let's say Penn State, Michigan, and Florida are all open. And I'd call it maybe, I don't know, somewhere between a 10 and 20% chance all 3 of those jobs are. Arkansas is just nowhere close. Those are better jobs with better resources. So if you're offered by all 4 of those schools, Arkansas is probably in 4th place.
Yeah.
What's the last one?
My third one, Eddie O. He wants to get back into coaching. He's got a natty.
Bobby Petrino with
Trey Daerr. Trey Daerr HC. Trey Daerr HC.
No way. Bobby Petrino with Ed Orgeron as the defensive coordinator. There.
Oh man. There you go.
I think
that'd be too much to deal with.
The game has changed now, like with Ed Orgeron. And people talk, oh well, they're a great recruiter. Well, you don't need to be a great recruiter. All you guys have the money.
Yeah.
So
true.
It's like the third time I've forgotten his name already. I keep forgetting. What's the head coach's name at Texas Tech?
I see his face. Exactly. I can't think of his name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're top 10 in the country. Nobody knows the guy's name.
George Washington.
Everybody knows about Cody Campbell and that they're getting $40 million for an NIL roster. So that's what it's about.
Exactly.
And Sam Pittman and Ed Orgeron, they can be great coaches too if they had big-time rosters.
Joey McGuire.
Lincoln.
Totally forgot.
It's Joey McGuire's Texas Tech.
It was whoever on the dollar sign. Yeah.
And you know what? Doesn't it feel like he's getting dogged because of how good that roster is and how much money they pumped into that program? Like nobody talks about it.
Yeah, and it only gets worse when the guy. It only gets worse when the guy who's sitting there wheeling and dealing all the money out won't stop running his mouth about all these what they're trying to do NIL. Yeah.
It's the dollars and cents version of nepotism. It's like you're only where you're at because of the money. Which what a great problem to have.
Right. Exactly.
But only might work in sports like softball. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still go buy. I mean, I will say, though, the last 2 national champions, they certainly bought those ones over there in Michigan and Ohio State. So that it works there.
Yeah, and those are big, some deep-pocketed teams. And credit to Ohio State, too, as I was talking about there, the quit factor in college football now. Those kids didn't quit. They showed up ready to play Tennessee, and they went on a run. Whenever a lot of players would have been like, oh, man, I'm kind of over it. So that's a product of their culture, their program, what they have there.
Yeah, no doubt.